Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be shedding light on how to be successful as a teacher. So how do you attain unprecedented success as a teacher? How do you reach that pinnacle, that milestone, that Venus, that apex of attaining unprecedented success as a teacher? Well, first and foremost, if you work at the 13-year Insular Breeze K-12 compulsory indoctrination camps, which people refer to them as 13-year Insular Breeze K-12 compulsory prisons, while other people refer to them as 13-year Insular Breeze K-12 compulsory concentration camps, you do not need to provide stellar teaching services to be successful as a teacher. Why not? Those boondoggles jobs that would never exist in a free market economy are subsidized by people who work real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand. And you could attain unprecedented success by working at the 13-year Insular Breeze K-12 compulsory indoctrination camps and earn roughly $200,000 to $300,000 primarily in the back end per year worked at the 13-year Insular Breeze K-12 compulsory indoctrination camps, especially when you factor in the pensions earned and the benefits and salaries for these boondoggles jobs that would never exist in a free market economy. If you recollect, students, they attend the K-12 Insular Breeze compulsory indoctrination camps against their own accord, under duress. They're corralled into these K-12 13-year Insular Breeze indoctrination camps against their own volition in this free market economy. So, how do you attain success as a teacher if you do not work at the 13-year Insular Breeze K-12 compulsory indoctrination camps that would never exist in a free market economy? How do you attain unprecedented success as a teacher if you are a self-employed teacher and you have voluntary demand for your service offerings? Well, you need to organically grow a behemoth of an educational brand if you want to be successful as a self-employed teacher, in which you're not guaranteed a penny from your clients. How do you grow a behemoth of an educational brand? Well, you need to be able to provide stellar teaching services. You need to be able to ensure that the knowledge that you're bequeathing to your students is pragmatic, practical, and you need to ensure that it is retentive and that it doesn't just elude them, and that it is just not fleeting nor ephemeral knowledge. You need to ensure that your teaching methodologies are constantly being refined and revamped so that you could achieve better learning outcomes. You want to achieve the best possible learning outcomes so that your students can be the more knowledgeable, competent, and adept. Your pedagogical methods should constantly be fine-tuned over time so that you could more efficaciously bequeath knowledge and skill sets to your students. So hone your teaching skills. Be a stellar teacher, instructor, or global educator. And ensure that your modules, educational videos, educational articles, and educational PowerPoints provide digestible, pragmatic, practical information that your students can assimilate in the chasms of their minds, and ensure that you become an effective communicator and that you're able to work harmoniously with your students to ensure that they're achieving optimal, desirable learning outcomes from your teaching services. So when it comes to building a behemoth of an educational brand, you should leverage indirect marketing tactics in order to organically grow your educational brand. What are indirect marketing tactics? Well, you can post your videos to a multitude of social media platforms. You should also produce newsletters, blogs, articles, podcasts, and books in order to be able to demonstrate your expertise to your target market, and in order to be able to organically grow behemoths of an educational brand. You could also host podcasts, webinars, and seminars in order to further cultivate a clientele. Whenever your target market is in dire need of teaching services, if you already won over their trust, if you already demonstrated that you're an expert in your niche area of expertise, if you already demonstrated that you're highly knowledgeable, highly competent, and highly adept, then they'll be a little more inclined to procure your teaching services. They'll be a little more inclined to enroll in your courses. So ensure that you're able to produce educational videos, educational newsletters, educational blogs, educational articles, educational podcasts, educational webinars, educational seminars, educational courses, and educational books. You want to be able to entice your target market to enroll in your courses and procure your teaching services. You want to be able to organically drive traffic to your website. And what better way to do that than by leveraging a multitude of social media platforms to create insightful, invaluable, pragmatic, educational content to not only enlighten your target market and demonstrate your expertise to your target market, but to also be able to drive traffic to your website so that your clients will be all the more inclined to procure your service offerings when they're in dire need of the service offerings of a teacher. If you want to be able to accelerate brand growth, if you want to be able to further cultivate brand equity, brand recognition, brand loyalty, and rapidly build a clientele, then you can leverage direct marketing tactics, such as by launching enticing pay-per-click marketing campaigns. You can also utilize Facebook advertisements, Bing advertisements, Yahoo advertisements, but there are other types of advertisements that you can leverage as well in order to drive traffic to your courses and to your website. You can utilize direct mail advertisements, bulletin board advertisements, billboard advertisements, television advertisements, radio advertisements, podcast advertisements, and mobile advertisements in order to accelerate brand growth, to say the least. Is it imprudent to leverage direct marketing tactics? Ideally, you want to leverage indirect marketing tactics in lieu of leveraging direct marketing tactics, because direct marketing tactics can be expensive to leverage, can cause you to hemorrhage money if they yield unfavorable results, and are not as efficacious in facilitating the long-term growth of a brand as indirect marketing tactics are. So you want to be able to organically grow your clientele and not inorganically grow your clientele, because inorganically growing your clientele is expensive, whereas organically growing your clientele is free and affordable and cost effective. You want to build a lucrative clientele of students who are keen on enrolling in your courses, completing your courses, and procuring your teaching services. Once you have a lucrative clientele of students, you can offer them the opportunity to enroll in your courses, seminars, and webinars that you create in the pending future. You should ensure that your website is optimized for mobile devices. And you should ensure that you remain up to date with the latest, utmost efficacious teaching methods so that you can become all the more effective at instilling knowledge in the chasms of your students' minds. as a teacher, as an instructor, you want to be able to be a stellar, renowned, highly competent, highly knowledgeable, highly adept global educator. You may have an inimitable way of teaching the course competencies to your target market, but nonetheless, you should do everything in your purview to ensure that the knowledge that you bequeath to your students is retentive. You want to be able to help them not only build their knowledge base, but you also want to be able to help them to build their repertoire and to accrue more pragmatic, practical, real-world skills by completing your courses. So do your utmost best to constantly improve your teaching methodologies and pedagogical methods so that you can achieve optimal, desirable learning outcomes and educational outcomes. So if you want to be successful as a teacher, focus on cultivating a behemoth of an educational brand, and focus on building a lucrative clientele of students who will be all the more inclined to enroll in your courses, webinars, and seminars in the pending future if you're able to demonstrate your expertise in your niche field. So I hope that you found this video to be insightful. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.